I have two lists, a mailing list and a list of people who have registered for a session. I want to know who on my mailing list didn't register yet so I can invite them. And I want to know who already did register from my mailing list so I can thank them. How can I compare those easily and without mistakes? And these are short example lists, but what if there are hundreds or thousands of rows? Let's take a look how Excel Power Query can help us do this easily and reusably. I have this demo list to compare sheet with my two sheets, and each has a table in it. I'm going to close that, and I'm actually going to open up a new Excel file. In this new empty Excel file, I'm going to bring that data in and compare those lists with Power Query. To do that, I'm going to go to the Data tab, and under Click Data, From File, I'll choose From Excel Workbook. And then I will choose that file, demo list to compare I download, and select Import. Now I'm going to get a preview of the content in that file, and I want to select those two tables I created. So in Windows, I'm going to check Select Multiple Items first, and then I will select my mailing and my registered tables and click Transform Data because I want to work with these. I don't want to put them right in Excel. And they open in Power Query. So on the left-hand side, there's a list of queries, and this is my two tables that I'm bringing in, the mailing table and the registered table. Now, Power Query can do a lot, and one of the things that's really good is cleaning up data. So when I look at my mailing list, I can see there's some capitals, some lowercase, might be spaces. So first I want to clean this so that when I am looking and comparing my two lists, I'm looking at all lowercase, no extra spaces. To do that, I'm going to select my first query, the mailing query, and the column list A. And then I'm going to go to the Transform tab because I want to change what's here in its place. And I'm going to come over to Format. And from here, I want to select Trim. And this is in case there's any extra spaces before or after. I'll click on that. And now I actually want to go and change every single character to lowercase. So I'm going to go to the Format menu again and choose lowercase. I'm going to repeat the exact same steps with my registered lists, so those are also standardized. So I clicked the registered query on the left and the list B column. In the Transform tab, I'm going to go to Format and I'll choose Trim and Format and choose lowercase. Now, as I work with these queries on the right-hand side, I can see a list of everything I've done to transform and work with my data. And so Power Query, there's actually no undo. Instead, if you want to undo something, you'll go to the applied steps on the right and you click on the X to remove a step. Now that I have cleaned these up and standardized them, what I want to do is I want to compare these two lists through a merge. So in the queries on the left, I'm going to select my first tab, kind of my main one, my mailing list query. And then I'm going to go on to the Home tab, and near the right under the Combine area, I'm going to find Merge Queries and Merge Queries as New, because I want to create a new table that is just the people from my mailing list who have not registered. So they're in the mailing list query, but not in the registered query. In this merge tool, I'm going to select the two tables that I want to look for matches in, basically. The first list here is my mailing, and I will select that query, and then I want to select the column I want to look at for a match, and that's the mailing list. These particular queries have only one column each, so it's pretty straightforward what to select. On the bottom section, which is the right side, I'm going to select the registered list from the drop-down and then the already registered column. Now, once I've done that, the way I want to combine these lists, to merge these, is I want to find everyone in list A who is not in list B. So when I come down here to the join kind, I don't want this default join, which is going to give me the left outer, everything from the first list and any matches from the second. Don't want that. Instead, what I want is what's called left anti. This is going to give me rows from the first list, that mailing list, only if they're not in the second list, the registered. So it's going to give me the rows that are only in the mailing list. And that's exactly what I want here. And once I select the join, the bottom here is going to give me an idea of how many rows I'm getting here. So this says it's excluding 2 of the rows. So I should find 4 people who have not registered yet. Now, when I click OK, it's going to add this new because we made a merge as new. And I have this new query here showing me the people who have not registered. So they're in my mailing list, not in registered. I'm going to rename this so I can remember what this is. These are the people I want to invite. So on the query list on the left, I'm going to right click on the merge one and select rename. And I'm going to call this to_invite. So these are the people I want to invite. Now I'm going to select that original query again, that mailing query, and we're going to do this again to find the people who are in both lists so I can thank my mailing list for registering, whoever did already register. So same thing, I'm going to select the mailing query, and in the home tab, I'm going to go to merge queries and select merge queries as new. And just like before, I want my mailing list first on the left or the top, and I want my registered on the bottom or the right. Now this time for join, instead of the left ante, I'm going to choose inner. So this is going to be only the rows that are in both of my tables here. And when I've done that, on the bottom it says there are 2 rows out of the 6 from the first table that are in both. So when I go ahead and click OK, I'm going to get a new list here, and this is showing me the 2 people from my mailing list who are also in the registered list. So these are the people who already registered. Now I want to rename this query on the left-hand side here as my to thank query. Thank you for registering. And once I've done that, I have my data here. Now, before we put this back into Excel, I want to point out that when you do a merge like this, you're going to see an additional column that shows you the table of all the other columns that you can bring in from the data sets you merged. Now, because we only had one column in each data set, if I click on the word table here, it's going to open up the whole table for that row, which is just this one column. So there is nothing to do with this tool here. Under applied steps, I'm going to go ahead and remove that navigation step. But let's say that I also had the date they registered or department or some other information in my original tables. I could click on this expand button here to bring in additional columns from my original data. But like I said, there isn't anything additional now, so we don't need to worry about that. It won't come over into my Excel. And let's do that now. So I'm going to go ahead and click on close and load. And what I'm going to get when I come back to Excel is that blank workbook I started with is going to populate with a couple things. It's going to populate with kind of copies of the original data sets. This is not the original data sets. It's just sort of reminding me what they were. And then my 2 queries where I merged. So I have the list of people I need to invite and the list of people I need to thank. Now, this is a really powerful tool and that you can reuse it. Let's say every month you need to run this comparison so you can invite people to things if they haven't already registered. So if I want to work with this information somewhere else, I can copy out my to thank list, for example, copy it, and then I can open up a new workbook. And then I can paste this as values so that it breaks that connection, because when I paste it regularly, it's still connected to the original Power Query. So if I delete or change the original data, that would change. So I want to paste it as values, and then I could go ahead and save this if I needed to or work with it as I wanted to. But if I wanted to reuse this, I have set up my entire comparison here to create me those 2 separate lists. All I need to do is replace the original data, and I can really easily recreate a new comparison with one click. Let me show you how. So I'm going to reopen that sheet I downloaded, the demo list to compare. This was the original data sheet. Now, let's say that I either paste in new information, or if I add some more people to the registered list here, or I add some new people to my mailing list. Let's say that someone else from my mailing list registered. I'm going to copy that value in and paste it into my already registered list. And then I'm going to save that. Like I said, I could actually remove the email addresses and paste in new ones in either list. However, I would be reusing this. When I come back to my Power Query where I've set this all up, I can get the new list of who to invite and who to thank with one click. Well, 2. I'm going to go to the data tab. That's click 1. And then I'm going to click on refresh all. That's click 2. And it automatically updates all of my stuff. It runs through all the steps we set up in that query for me automatically. And I have my new to invite list. You can see Sandeep was removed because Sandeep registered, and my new to thank list. So Power Query is super powerful. Try these things out for yourself.